Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode. Today I'm going to show you exactly how I personally manage my own finances. Okay, so first and foremost, step one of any good financial plan is to create your goals. You've got to know what you're working towards and what you're aiming for. So I used to be saving up for a new car. I already bought my car, so that's no longer there. But one of my big goals is to invest more money into my business and into my personal retirement accounts. So if you know what you're aiming towards, it's much easier to actually get there. But this is the step that almost everybody skips over. We immediately dive right into the budget, we dive into our finances, we dive into savings accounts. But I want you to step back and take a look at your life. What are you actually working towards? What's important to you? Why is that important to you? Get very, very clear on what those things might be, and then it's easier to start working towards those goals. So step number one, set a goal. And I am such a nerd when it comes to goal setting. I actually did an entire podcast episode. It's linked in the show notes below. And in the comments below. See, I mix YouTube and podcasting all the time, but it's linked below and it shows how I personally set 90-day goals and my entire system behind that. It's incredible. I've got really great feedback. So go check that out if you want to see exactly how I set my own goals. And then step number two, that's where your budget comes in. That's where you're gonna start getting a little bit nerdy with this stuff. So with my own personal budget, I keep it super simple. So I've got a little Google sheet. I used to use Excel, now I use Google Sheets. I just find it to be easier. And what I have is on the top of that, I have my income, the top of my budget, and then I list out every single one of my monthly expenses. Now these are both variable and fixed expenses. So these are things like my house payment, but also things like eating out or travel. Travel is 100% variable. It's not a necessity. So I rank them all from my necessities to my variable expenses. And then I give it an estimate. So I do a forecasted number. And it's not just like pulling a number from the sky and saying, I think this will be a good amount. It's actually based on data. So I'm looking at my past history of spending, and those are the numbers that I'm using to compilate what I think my budgeted amounts might be. So if I'm constantly eating out and it's like $150 on average, then that's the number I'm using to plan. So that's kind of what I do. And frankly, I don't really eat out a lot, but I do spend some money on coffee. So I do give myself $50 per month for my coffee budget. I'm super basic. I just drink plain coffee with cream and Splenda. So it's a little bit cheaper than the fancy lattes. And then this is the next key part that we always fail at when it comes to budget. And I myself notice if I don't do this, I will fail at my money plan. My budget will suck. So what I do is every single week I have a money date with myself. So this sounds super cheesy. If you want to, you can like light a candle, get your fancy latte, like make it a total event. I don't do that. I'm just kind of boring. So I just sit down and I will give myself 15 minutes to check in with my financial life. So what this means is every single week I am looking at my goals. What were those goals that I set? What am I working towards? Why is this stuff super important for me? I try to visualize what it feels like to actually be accomplishing those goals. So it helps. This is just my own personal strategy. And after I'm done visualizing my goals, then I go through and I look at my transactions. And every single week for that week's worth of transactions of my spending, I am updating my budget. So because it's in Excel, you can do those calculations. So I will do equal sign, say it's a Starbucks transaction, $5 plus $2.76 plus blah, blah, blah. So I will add up all of my transactions into that one specific section, my category that I'm working on. And that's how I update my budget. And what that tells me is I've got some formulas worked out as well, where it shows me my budgeted amount, my forecasted amount, my actual spending to date. This is what I do every single week. And then it tells me the remaining amount. So it's a simple calculation that has your budgeted minus your actual expenses and tells you how much you have left in your budget. And for me, this is so critical because I can check in real time and see how am I doing with my finances? Am I a little bit off in one category? Do I need to maybe reel back a little bit on my groceries? Maybe be a little bit more intentional and not put in all the extra crap into my cart? Whatever it is, that's what that point of that weekly check-in is that it gets you in check so you're not overspending. You're not getting to the end of the month and wondering, where the heck did all my money go? Third step is I like to update my net worth tracker. So this is totally optional, but I highly recommend it because what this means is your net worth is essentially all of your assets, things that you actually own, and then all of your liabilities, things that you owe. And if you subtract your liabilities from your assets, it gives you a number. That's your net worth. That's how much money you actually truly have. If you were to liquidate all of your assets and then sell all of your liabilities, and you were to pay all those liabilities off from the cash flow from your assets, that's your net worth. So for me personally, I like to track that every single month. And I find that when I track my net worth monthly, I can see a good trend line. If my net worth is continually going like this, I'm doing okay. But if it's going like this, which it did when I purchased a car, then I know I need to keep working on it. But I think your net worth really is the ultimate indicator of how you're doing financially. So that's why I highly recommend tracking it monthly. It's what I personally do. I enjoy it. If you're not quite that nerdy, maybe do it yearly. I'm not quite sure. But net worth tracking is super critical in my opinion. And then just for the normal day-to-day stuff, the things that I do to help me stay on track with my money plan and with my finances is that I have all of my bills automated. I don't have to physically remember to go pay a bill. It's automatically coming out of my account. I'm busy, you're busy, nobody has time to remember to pay all their bills. And if you skip payments, that's what I find with most of my coaching clients is when they get in trouble. When you forgot to pay a bill maybe a few months and now you owe $500 instead, that's what gets a lot of people in trouble. So automate my bill pay, super, super important for me. I automate my savings. So all of my savings, I'm currently saving for Machu Picchu. That's like my dream trip. So I have an app that I use called Capital, Qapital, also linked below. It's phenomenal. It's free. I love it. I think you would like it too, but it helps me save from my vacation fund. So that's happening in the background. My bills are getting paid in the background. The next thing that I automate is my investing. So I use Betterment, which is a robo-advisor. I'll have to do another video about how to set up Betterment and why I think this is so cool. But basically all of my investing is it's every month and it's a set amount. I think I'm doing like $300 per month right now. I'm trying to put more into my business. So I'm doing $300 into my personal retirement account and it just happens every single month like clockwork. I don't even have to think about these things. And I think that's the key to a good financial plan is the goals, the structure, your budget is the structure, and then automating it so you don't have to rely on yourself to remember those things. There's a concept called decision fatigue, which means if you make a ton of decisions throughout the day, at the end of the day, you literally cannot make any more decisions. Like even the question of what do you want to do for dinner becomes such a big ordeal because you have fatigued your ability to make decisions. And if we rely on our ability to make decisions, if we rely on willpower, that's when we fail with our finances. So automate as much as you possibly can. Nobody has time for this stuff. I'm also a big advocate of meal prepping. I meal prep literally every single Sunday unless I'm traveling. And I find that to be so useful because it saves me money. It makes it so I don't eat out that often. So my eating out budget for me personally is probably less than $100 per month. And that would be on the high end. So I keep my expenses pretty minimal because I do meal prep. And honestly, it's easy to do. It doesn't take very much time. Every Sunday as I'm doing my meal prep, I've got my TV shows on, I'm catching up on my Netflix stuff, and I'm meal prepping. Everything's baking in the oven. I don't have to worry about it. I drink a cup of coffee, wait for the timer to go off, stir my chicken, fix my vegetables, and that's it. It's so easy and it's become such a part of my routine that it saves me a ton of money and a ton of time as well. So that's another decision fatigue thing. We don't want to have to remember, what am I going to eat for lunch? What am I going to eat for dinner? It's already ready to go for you. And that allows me to make better decisions that are actually more meaningful. Things like what business strategy do I want to use? Who do I want to go connect with? What events do I want to go to? Those kinds of things really matter. And I think it's really important to eliminate every little side kind of thing that it doesn't really serve you. I think it's important to eliminate those. I mean, I make my coffee most of the time. So if I feel like I'm getting out of control with my coffee budget, then I will definitely reel it back and bring my own coffee. I mean, it's pretty simple stuff, guys. I don't have any debt intentionally. I don't want to have to think about all the extra bills. My finances are ridiculously boring. So it's my budget, my goals, my net worth tracker, and just keeping the day-to-day expenses pretty low. That's really how my finances look. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It means the world to me and I post videos 1 to 2 times per month. I'm trying to be better about this, guys, but man, life is busy. So I'm doing my best. But if you want to hang out with me, I hang out on Instagram mostly. So you can find me at Whitney_Hansen_co. Come say hi, let me know you watched this video, and I'd love to hear from you. What are some tips that you personally use to manage your own finances? Comment below and let me know what it is that you do. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, if you want abnormal results, you have to do abnormal things. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys later. Bye.